Hey everyone, and happy iPhone Day. The new phones were finally released today, and I think it's safe to say this was one of the biggest releases we have had in years. The new iPhone 17 Pros have a completely new look. The base model iPhone 17s are the most pro they have ever been, and we even have a brand new first ever iPhone Air. Now, personally, I am an iPhone Pro user. I have been for a few years, specifically the iPhone Pro Max, actually. I'm currently using the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So this year I did pick up the iPhone 17 Pro Max in the silver color. We're gonna talk about it, but the orange and the blue just weren't for me. So I stuck with the lightest option, which traditionally is white, but this year is silver. So I picked that up, and I'm not fully sold on the design yet, so we're gonna unbox it and I'm gonna see what it looks like in person, but realistically, this is the only phone for me, for what I need it for. I use all the cameras, so I am still excited for the internal updates to the iPhone 17 Pro because the cameras are just gonna be awesome this year. We will also be unboxing the iPhone Air today. I have to see it in person. I have to see what all the fuss is about and test it out. I did not pick up a base model iPhone 17 because honestly just doesn't look any different. There's definitely some new colors, but most of the updates to the iPhone 17 were internal. For the first time, it has ProMotion 120 Hertz, which has traditionally only ever been an iPhone Pro only feature. It has double the storage, it has 48 megapixel cameras, it has the new selfie camera, new glass. It is the most complete base model iPhone Apple has ever released. So please do not discount it just because I don't have it in front of me. It is quite literally the iPhone that will give you the most value for your money. Let's start by unboxing the iPhone 17 Pro Max, because I think the Air will feel even lighter in my hand once I've held this one. So we're gonna start with this. So this is what the box of the Pro phones look like this year. First year in a while, actually. We've had the back of the phone showcase on the box, I'm assuming because they want to show off this new design. But let me know what you think of the new Pro design. Do you like it? Do you find it looks good, or do you find it looks even a little bit too utilitarian maybe? So this is the Pro box. I will just show quickly, it is significantly thicker than the Air box, which obviously makes sense, but let's open it up, let's unbox it. I actually think it looks better in person, if I'm being honest. It's not, oh, in the box, so we have USB-C cable and some paperwork. I honestly don't think there's much else at all this year. So that's pretty much it. It is a little bit heavier, I can already notice, than my 16 Pro Max, and you can actually see, hopefully anyways, it is a little bit thicker. So a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier, but the edges are actually rounded on the new 17 Pro Max because of the aluminum unibody. So it's less sharp since it's rounded, but it actually feels, I think it feels a little bit better in the phone, to be honest. Here are the backs of the two phones. Looking at them side by side like this for the first time, I have to say I do prefer the all glass back, but I actually think I prefer the camera plateau, which I'm shocked. I did not think I would like it, but it kind of makes this look more uniform in a way. I don't know. Let me know what you think, but that's kind of what my initial impression is. Prefer this color, but prefer this camera bump. Speaking of colors, so there is, of course, the Cosmic Orange was the hot color this year. First time ever, a bright Pro phone, and the dark, I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's a dark blue, essentially a navy blue. No black, shockingly. That's always the most popular color, black or space gray. It is pretty shocking that they omitted that this year. But in the last few days on social media, I've seen that the blue definitely, but I think the orange as well, seem to be scratching a little bit, the aluminum. So I was always gonna go for the lighter phone, but I'm even happier now I went with the lighter phone. Hopefully this one doesn't scratch up too much. And who knows, maybe that's actually why they couldn't release a black one, if it was, if they knew it was gonna scratch. That will always be one of the most satisfying things, I have to say. I'm gonna turn this on, and while it's powering on, I'll just say the screen itself this year did get a few upgrades. So it is a lot brighter. It's 3000 nits now. It used to be 2,000 up to 3,000 this year. So that'll help mainly when you're outside. The other thing though is it has a new anti-glare coating on it, and it's only supposed to cut about 30% of the glare, so not fully matte or anything like that by any means. I think, yeah, you can see a bit of a difference there. It's definitely cutting about 30% of the glare. So I'm actually really excited for that feature, especially taking photos outside. That'll be awesome. The other thing is the new ceramic shield on the front. I think is supposed to be 3 times more scratch resistant on the front and 4 times more scratch resistant ceramic shield on the back. I hardly notice the weight difference, honestly, since I've been holding this one in the left hand. It's hardly noticeable at all. It's mainly just the rounded edges I'm noticing the most. I wasn't expecting that. I don't even really notice the added thickness. I mean, it's definitely there, but maybe because the edges are rounder, just it doesn't feel like it in a way. But buttons are all pretty much the same. So power button, camera control button, which honestly, on the 16 Pro Max, I really only ever use it to open the camera or for visual intelligence. So who knows, maybe one year it's gonna fully disappear. And then the new cutout on the top for part of the new antenna. The antenna on these new 17 Pros are all up here in part of this new camera plateau this year. You can actually see it go around the plateau. So the theory being your hand isn't blocking the signal as much anymore, and therefore the signal should be better on these 17 Pros. Another new thing this year is, in Canada anyways, we no longer have a physical SIM. eSIM only this year, and that means because there's no physical SIM this year, there's actually a bigger battery in here. The regions that are getting the physical SIM, you will have a little bit smaller of a battery to make room for that physical SIM. So you might be losing a few hours of battery life, nothing hopefully too crazy, but that is something to note. I feel like I keep instinctively just wanting to pick up the 16 Pro Max to compare as I'm thinking things through, but something else I'm noticing is, I guess the brushed aluminum versus this titanium it's less slippery. It doesn't seem to be sliding as much, and hopefully that also means less fingerprints, if any. I don't know if you can tell, but the titanium was kind of a fingerprint magnet. So we'll have to see. They did switch to the aluminum this year for the Pros, mainly to help with the heat dissipation. The 16 Pros as well as the 15 Pros from 2 years ago got pretty hot with the titanium. So now you have the aluminum body with this glass cutout, and it's definitely the two-tone here, silver and white, that I think I have the biggest issue with, but maybe it'll grow on me. But so this is still glass, and the reason this is glass and they couldn't go all metal on the back is because to be able to use wireless charging and MagSafe, you have to have a glass back. That won't work through metal. So I totally understand it. I think it's an okay trade-off. I rather have wireless charging and MagSafe accessories versus this two-tone look, but I'll have to see if it grows on me, if I get used to it. There's also under this glass now the new vapor chamber in the Pros to also aid in cooling it down. So I'm definitely interested to see if that's going to make as much of a difference as they're saying it will. Hopefully aluminum was the right choice. It's just funny that for 2 years, titanium has been the big thing, the big talking point. Now after 2 years, we're already switching away from it. So let me know. What do you guys think? All right, I'm gonna put this one down. As much as I don't want to, I will. iPhone Air in the cloud white is what it's called. They did have a black in the Air, as well as a sky blue, and I think gold was the 4th color. Let's get to the main event, shall we? All right. Okay. Wow. It is light. Compared to this Pro Max, this looks so small to me right now, but it actually is incredibly light. And then in the box again, USB-C charger, or cable, no charger, and just a piece of paper. So I was correct in assuming that after holding the Pro Max that this was gonna feel like paper. Can you see how thin this is? Now, screen-wise, the Pro Max is 6.9 inches, same as the 16 Pro Max from last year. So that hasn't changed. This new iPhone Air is actually 6.5 inches. So it's kind of a medium-sized screen. The base model iPhone 17 as well as the iPhone 17 Pro have a 6.3 inch display. So this is the medium right in between. It is so thin. It's so light. I don't know if you can see this. The USB-C port is it's not center, a little bit below center. And these grooves actually on either side is not a speaker. Like the Pros have a speaker on the base. On the Air, it's just microphones. So that is another thing with the Air is there's only one speaker, and it's your, let's take this off, it's your speakerphone speaker. So it's at the top this year only. Yep, still satisfying. So the speaker is just at the top. These down here are just microphones. Is the camera control button smaller? Everything just looks miniature sized. I think it's the same size, but that's crazy. It's literally the width of the phone. And this is still, as you can probably already tell, the full glass back with the titanium sides. If you watch my video on the iPhone 17 event when this iPhone Air was announced, the concerns I had with this phone were mainly just around the form factor. Like, to have something this thin, my assumption was, and still kind of is, to be completely honest, that you have to make some trade-offs. So I assumed the trade-offs would have been battery life, heat, like it would run hot, and those sorts of things. So I don't actually have any issue with the look of the phone. I personally didn't ask for a thinner phone, but hey, this is probably what all our phones will look like in the future. And if any company, or if I trust any company to figure out solutions for typical problems of a phone this thin, it would be Apple. So I'm going to be testing this out for a few weeks, and I really hope I'm proven wrong, because if anyone can do it, it's definitely Apple. My biggest issue though, for me personally, and the reason why this cannot be my daily phone at this time, is that there's only one camera on the back. I use my cameras every day, the ultra wide, the telephotos, the main camera. So this to me would not suffice. All the new phones, including the base model 17, have the new selfie camera on the front, which got a huge upgrade because it's 18 megapixels up from 12 megapixels last year. And it's a square sensor. So now when you want to take a selfie, you can hold it like this, but you can take it in this direction or landscape while you're still holding it upright like this to make it even easier to take your selfies, especially with a group of people. Everyone knows to look at the top of the phone. It doesn't have that weird angle and have people looking in all different directions. So I am probably most excited, honestly, to test out that new selfie camera. Not that I take a lot of selfies, but I just still think it will be a significant update there. And related to the new selfie camera actually is a new dual capture feature. So you can record with both the front camera and the back camera at the same time, which I think could be really cool for reactions and like POV, point of view content, even honestly short form content. If I'm wanted to show a feature, a tutorial, and I can record my face speaking and show off maybe on this phone what I want to show, that could be a game changer too for just quick little videos. So these are the two new phones. Camera bump, obviously very different. Everything's different in size here. This iPhone Air is, what is it, 5.6 millimeters thin. That is, of course, excluding the camera bump. And the camera bump, I don't know, maybe get this one out of the way. If you can see that or tell, that is a pretty significant camera bump. It doubles the size of the phone, at least I would say, but it's small enough that you probably wouldn't even notice. And that's just because they put all of the internals basically of this phone, of the cameras, of the chip, everything is up here in the camera plateau, so that down here is all battery. This is just crazy thin. I do like the look of it. Like I do think this is the future. In a few years, once they've absolutely perfected this and hopefully thrown on an extra camera or two, this is going to be the new normal. And I still do think, though, my suspicion is that this is a test. They want to see what issues will arise with this new form factor. And then next year, or maybe the year after, they're going to put two of these together and turn it into a folding phone. I would be willing to put money on that. All right, I feel like I've been rambling because I've just been mesmerized and staring at the phones, but we'll turn this one on. So we've already spoken about the screen size. It has the same screen updates. All of the phones do. So 3000 nits brightness, the anti-glare screen, as well as the ceramic shield, both on the front and on the back. Ceramic Shield 2, actually. It's that much of an improvement that they gave it a new number. All of the iPhone Airs are eSIM only. So even if you are in the UK or Europe or anywhere else that the Pros and base model 17 would come with a physical SIM, the Air can only be eSIM. There's absolutely no room for a physical SIM, especially because this is all battery. So the Air also does have the same chip in the 17 Pro phones, but it does have one less GPU, I'm pretty sure, is the main difference. But so it does have a Pro level chip in here to make it as efficient as possible, to try and help probably with the battery life and the thermals so that it doesn't run as hot, hopefully. But the battery life they are quoting on this iPhone Air is almost the same as I think it's as the 16 Pro from last year. So it is a huge battery. Like, it is pretty much this entire bottom part of the phone. So definitely not as much as the Pro Max. This, I think they're quoting, is going to get 39 hours of video playback, but realistically, what does that even mean? Who knows? But it should last all day. This one, I don't know. Well, I'll have to see if it's actually going to last the whole day or not. They did release a iPhone Air exclusive new MagSafe battery pack for this phone. I did not get that, but just so you know, if they're making their own battery for this, I don't know. You can read into it and think that means it needs the help, it needs the extra battery, but I believe if you do put the battery pack on this, it pretty much equals the battery of the Pro Max. So is this a phone you would put in your back pocket? Let me know. Would you be afraid you'd sit on it? It definitely feels good. It's definitely light. I would recommend going into an Apple store if you can, just to pick this up. It's kind of crazy. I really am worried I would accidentally fling this across the room. I do really like the feel of the 17 Pro Max. These rounded edges make way more of a difference, and the aluminum feels good. So really the last things to quickly talk about are the cameras on these phones. All of the cameras now on all of the phones, the base model iPhone 17, the Pros, and the Air are all 48 megapixels. The Pro Max has the 48 ultra wide camera, 48 megapixel ultra wide camera from last year. And this year new is the 48 megapixel telephoto lens, which is 48 megapixels at 4x, but it does have an optical zoom up to 8x. So 8x zoom should be at 12 megapixels. So I'm very excited to test that out, and we'll be testing this out as soon as possible. The camera on the iPhone Air, so 48 megapixels, and it has 2x optical zoom. It's a Gen 1 product. This is the first one they've ever made. That means it'll only just keep getting better. But I will actually point out, because they're calling it the iPhone Air and not the iPhone 17 Air, I wonder if that means they will not be releasing one every year. Maybe this is going to be an every 2-year update phone, who knows? Because realistically, like, how much thinner can you make this? You'd have to get rid of probably at least the camera control button. So who knows? What else would you update every year? We will have to wait and see. Oh, actually, the reason I put this Apple Pencil here, it was partly for show, but I wanted to see. The iPhone Air is literally thinner than the Apple Pencil. That's crazy. Okay, sorry. That was for my own amusement. And if you have already picked up a new phone yourself today, let me know what you got, what color you got, especially if you got one of the iPhone Airs, if you're that target customer that this is perfect for. I would love to hear from you what you think so far. And these were obviously some pretty big design changes on the phones this year, but it's not just the hardware, the phone hardware that got an update. The software, the iOS 26 has the new liquid glass look, and a lot of the apps like the camera app, the phone app, the photos app all got redesigned. So go ahead and check out that iOS 26 video next. So that's it. Have a great day. Bye.